All right, let's go.
You're paying for Go High Level every month. You log in, you poke around, you feel a little overwhelmed, and you log back out. The leads pile up, the follow-ups don't happen, and your CRM just sits there, collecting digital dust. That's exactly why the 14-day Simplified GHL Challenge was built. One action inside your GHL back office every day for 14 days. By the end, you'll know your system. You'll trust your system. Simplify, clean up, automate, build workflows that work when you aren't. Delegate, step into CEO mode. The 14-day Simplified GHL Challenge begins the third Monday of every month. Scan the code to reserve your spot.
All right, good morning, and welcome to Monday Morning Business
Coleen, make sure you record.
Foreplay. Thank you. This is why everybody needs an admin. Everybody should have an admin like me. Ashley is the best of the best. Ashley, that was Ashley. Ashley, come on screen for a second if you would. And this is Ashley of Bandamer. This is Ashley of Bandamer Agency, and she is so multi-talented. She does so many things for me. One of the things she does is remind me to record, which is always good. So welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. I'm Coleen Stubbs. I am your hostess, and today we're going to be joined by Edwin Soler. I'm Coleen Stubbs. I'm the founder of Simplified CEO Systems. As our commercial says, I do host a 14-day Go High Level Challenge every month. We admit people into the room. That begins on the third Wednesday of every month. But this week is the magical week. This week on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, I am hosting my monthly masterclass From Tech Chaos to Control. It's a masterclass that walks you through my 3-step framework of simplifying, automating, and delegating inside your business. This does work inside Go High Level. It also works inside any other CRM. So if you struggle, if you feel overwhelmed by your business, if you know that there's a better way, then go ahead and register for that class. Ashley, if you'll drop that link, register for the masterclass. It's this Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12:30 Central Standard Time. And it is interactive, which means we're going to be live in the room together. We're going to be talking virtually. This is a spot for you to ask questions. But most importantly, you're going to walk away with steps you can implement immediately to be able to breathe inside your business. You're going to know how to automate with heart. You're going to know what you should delegate, what you should never delegate. And your first thing you're going to do is learn what you should simplify, what you should do, and what you should never be doing in your business. So I'd love it if you would register for that and join me this Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And once again, that's the first Wednesday of every month for those of you who are catching the replay. So this morning's guest is Edwin Soler, and we are going to dive into Ready, Reset, Grow. I love that. Very catchy. Edwin, tell us a little bit about yourself that is going to help you be memorable to our guest so that they see you as a human being first and an entrepreneur second.
Coleen, first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you everyone that's here with me today to hear me. Coleen, this may sound a little bit counterintuitive, but I want people to remember me for what I think we're losing today as being a human. We're just so much is going to AI and all this other stuff, and we're forgetting all this connection and you know, human beings. We're humans, and as humans, we need to remember. I wrote a book, and there's a crazy story behind it, which I'll tell you real quick. I wrote the book Closing the 18-inch Gap, and that those 18 inches that I referred to were this 18 inches between your heart and your mind. So we just think the gap is so big. No, it's only 18 inches, but it's so incredibly hard to fill sometimes as human beings. And I'll help close that gap. So what happened after I wrote that book, 3 months after I wrote that book, Colleen, biggest success, I'm like, you know, big deal. I'm a published author. 3 months later, I lose a career of 27 years in an instant, unexpected. And I had to live that. And this is 3.5 years later. And I'm happy to say that you're seeing the best version of Edwin yet. But there was someone that walked alongside of me, besides my family, my coach. She's still with me. just saw just the backstory, and I never like hate it per se, but how brutally hard it was to come out of that. But to say, hey, I'm human. I have something powerful in me. We all do, and I'm going to do this, and I'm still living that right now.
I love that. I'm going to share with you, Edwin, because I don't know if you know everybody that's in the room,
Mhm.
but one of the things that I really strive to do in my business, and this is based on 37 years experience building businesses, is build relationships. It's hard to build relationships with AI. I think it's just next to impossible. And AI is, as you said, everywhere. I'm having a problem with the tool I use right now, and I have been messaging back and forth, probably more than 20 messages with a bot, and having to demand to talk to a human because it's an easily fixed problem if I'm speaking to a human, but a bot can't see their way around it. But when I look at Carl, I know that Carl has a ton of business experience and he walks the walk. When you talk to Carl, anything about business, you could just pop up and say, and he understands and can communicate with that on that level with you. When I talk to Mike, Mike is all about storytelling and sharing what you're passionate about through storytelling. And he does such a good job at that, that even just in casual conversation, he is storytelling. And so these are people that are doing what you're saying, that are doing the thing that they're preaching. They're actually walking the walk. And that's it is a huge gap to fill between the mind and the heart. Because I think that society teaches us we have to do things a certain way. And it starts in grade school. And this may be controversial. Everybody can throw eggs at me, but it starts in grade school. I think that when they're telling you, do it this way, do it that way. I saw that, Mike. But the truth of the matter is, there's not any one way to success. If there is, it is through your heart.
Mhm.
Because people can see when you're being authentic. When you are following your heart and sharing what's in your heart, it comes easily and you can share your business. Gary Vee said, I think it was Gary Vee said, when people become successful, they're like, oh my gosh, I have to do all these things. The truth of the matter is, if you're authentic from the very beginning and following your heart and doing those things, nothing changes when you get successful. When it hits off, you're doing the same thing. You're still showing up authentically. So let's not put up a guise. Let's not follow what everybody says. Let's follow our hearts. And with that, we're going to cover today, Edwin's going to share with us today, how to take honest inventory of the top 5 things that eat our time, reset the beliefs driving each one, and grow into a mindset built on confidence and freedom. We're going to walk away with real strategy, real perspective, and probably a few uncomfortable truths, because growth never comes from your comfort zone. Edwin, it's your turn. Take it away, buddy.
Thank you. So, Colleen, I love that. I absolutely love that. I love it. This is I just I love, like I was sharing with you. This is my first time. I feel comfortable here already. Just something, because I don't like to do this on purpose. But there's one thing I'll tell you that I hate with a passion is status quo. Don't put me in status quo like, hey, let's clap hands, kumbaya. I'm not saying let's share darker secrets. None of that. Like, it takes time. Relationships, like you said, relationships. My relationship with my coach for the first time, like, she has seen me see her screen on Zoom. It's like, nobody sees this. So that's trust, because that relationship has been built. The other day, she took her camera, her computer camera, and zoomed in for a full 360 in her office. That place was messy, but that relationship built that trust. So I love going deeper. It's like we're in an age now where, not just AI, just in general, we're like more of putting a wall. And I've had to learn to balance that, not be too like go deep, because I can go deep, like hold back a bit, but not hold back to the point where, like, I'm like fake or whatever. It's like I like the in between. So I love this, because we're gonna go there today, because the top 5 things I'm gonna bring are gonna speak to the heart. And that's what I'm about. So that's just my notes up here, just so because there's a lot of information. Just want to make sure I stay on track. So the top 5 things eating your time. The first one I could say clear is not having a crystal clear life direction. People don't know these things. This is why I was talking to Carl just a few minutes ago. I like to go to to the heart. So, Colleen, how many people have come to you? My system, I want to fix this, and this, and this. But in your mind, you're thinking, wait a minute, underneath that, there's something else that's really holding you back. And not that we have to be psychologists, therapists, or babysitters, no, but that human element that we need. It's like, okay, where's this going? Like, we need to have crystal clear direction, because if you don't have that, you're not going to go anywhere. You know,
Yeah.
you can have all the systems you want. I mean, nothing wrong with systems. We need the systems. We need the goals. We need the strategies. But it's what I call the why. I think it was Michael Hyatt that said it. And it was resounded so deeply with me. I never forgot. It's so simple. When you lose your why, you lose your way. No direction. So that's going to eat more time than anything else, going in circles. Just going in circles, and just really saying, okay, what was I created for? Why am I here? You know, and if I could just interject real quick, Colleen, just one other thing, like you said, the school systems and all this, right? Here's another one. And of course, time wouldn't allow right now, but how about how you were raised, your parenting? My second book is going to be my memoir of what I had to go through. My parental raising, I am blessed my mother's heart. She's passed now, and my father's very old in age. But I was given what I just called, you can't choose your parents, but they were not the best ones at all. And that has so much to do with my DNA, where I was with my thinking, that it completely distorted where my life direction was. So I had to clarify what my life direction was. That's number one. The second thing that I think will really eat up your time is doing it alone. You cannot, and on my podcast, I say this all the time. I preach this every day. Community, community, community. You need to have community. You need to have someone there with you, because you can't do it alone. When you're doing it alone, it's eating, your time is wasted so much. Now, not just community, the right community. And that too is going to take some time to find, but you cannot do it alone. Going back, AI is such a hot topic. It's almost like AI will give me a solution to whatever I need. It's interesting because, Colin, I can clearly tell you're the systems gal. So I was using ConvertKit, and ConvertKit for me is a pain in the neck. So one day I happily went to AI and I gave it all these prompts. How to do this, and this, and created this manual. And then I said to my coach, "Oh, look, Cindy, I can do all this now in ConvertKit." She looked at it. She's somewhat familiar with it. She looks at the first prompt. It's like, that doesn't work anymore. That's outdated. It's just been updated since then. That used to be this way. It was an easier way to do it. Like, okay. So it was probably all wrong, or at least half of it.
Yeah.
Wasted time. Because we don't want to go to someone and have that relationship. Today, people are so programmed. I have a love-hate relationship with apps. I mean, when they work, they're great. But sometimes, like you said, can I speak to a human being? Where's the connection, you know? But these things, the AI, the apps, you name it, are pushing us away.
They are. And I would interject that,
Yeah.
number one, I want to go back to the first thing you said, which is your upbringing. And I will say that I was raised really well. I was raised very intentionally. And I'm just going to play devil's advocate here for a second. I was adopted. I spent the first couple of years of my life in the foster care system and then was adopted. I was adopted into a family that understood that I was probably damaged and needed a lot more help, as were my siblings, who were also, there were four of us all adopted. And we were not siblings before adoption. So siblings through adoption. But my parents enrolled us. I think I was 7 when I started my first Zig Ziglar course, Up With People, because they knew that I would need mindset work. I would need to believe in myself and have confidence and all these things that life just took from me. I was also raised in not only a financially stable home, which many people are, but I was educated as to finances from the time I was a small child. Nothing was given to me. Oh, I take that back. I was given a car when I was 16 that was older than I was, and I had to stand up to see. It was gosh, I can't even think of what it was. A Ford Custom 350, and I had to hang on to the steering wheel. Thank God it
Wow.
was plastic. Had to hang on to it and stand up to be able to see behind me because
That's a
the
big
back end
truck.
was higher than the front, right? Remember this old clunky car? So I was given that, but I had to wash windows at a quarter a pane to get money to buy hot lunch, even though we had money to pay for hot lunch. So I was raised in a financially responsible home. But what happens is then I come online and I become aware that not everybody was. And so the things that I think everybody knows, they don't know. When I come online and people are trying to start businesses without any funding or any money, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? But this is how they've tried to do everything in life and they don't understand. Or they get money and they blow through it because they don't feel worthy of it and they don't understand it's a tool. And even the mindset things. They stop because it didn't work instead of dissecting the problem and finding a better solution, right? And so that's a whole flip side. And I know that people don't see that as a problem, but it can stand in the way of your progress when you get sidetracked looking and trying to compare and trying to figure out what's actually going on in the world because it's so different than what you're raised with. And then I'm going to say doing it alone. We are, and this is my belief, you're welcome to throw eggs. Mike, go get some eggs while you're away from your camera. I believe that we are all created by God who wants us to have relationships with people. And our journey through life is easier and blessed when we do that. And so we're not here I'm not hopping on here to sell you something and be gone. I'm here to find out who you are, Edwin, as a person, who you are, Ashley, who you are, Vaughn, and really connect with you and see who you are, and then see if something I have fits you and how I can bless your life by walking that journey with you. And I think that is so important. It's not even just jumping in any random community. It's jumping in one that is specific to your needs and your personality. And like, I'm not going to go into a room with a bunch of people that are really quiet and nobody talks because I was given the gift of gab. My kindergarten teacher wrote, "Nice girl, but she's chatty" on my report card. I don't belong in a room with quiet people. And so building those relationships with the right people, you're absolutely right, Edwin, is absolutely essential to building our business.
If you can allow me, would you give me permission just for 90 seconds of for everyone that's listening right now and see this? Just so here we are. I'm going to come into the complete polar opposite, but how we're converging.
Yes.
Because we have something in common. I grew up in the foster care system. Let me give you my story, like 90 seconds or less. 2 years old, my mom leaves, pulls me away from my dad, pops herself here in Pennsylvania, meets a guy that at the age of 3 starts physically abusing me severely. This went on until the age of 6. Mother's completely absent-minded, and it took me 50 years to figure her out the best I could. By the time I'm 6, I'm entering a foster care home system. By the time I'm 10, I'm already went through 18 of them, including a mental institution. They threw me in a mental institution where I saw things as an 8-year-old that adults will never see in their entire life, that I still didn't understand until later. To be sent to Puerto Rico with my father, where my stepmother severely beat me for 3 years, and the only way my father finally had the courage to take me from her, she nearly killed me. He saw what she did to me, and she abused me. He has no idea to this day what she had done to me. Came back here with my mother thinking finally, hey, the promised land. She was so detached. 2 years later, I was so dysfunctional by then. She kicks me out, leaves to Puerto Rico. She abandoned me 3 weeks after my 16th birthday. 16 years old. Then comes in one of my family members who started abusing me. And from there on, just life went on, just me trying to figure it out. I dropped out of high school, somehow made it through college. My gosh, figure that out, right? And went to this career. So speaking of those relationships, Coleen, I grew up with, speaking of relationships, very dysfunctional, very needy, very needing to feel wanted and loved and cared for. And that was never there.
Right. And so what I see, Edwin, is I see that it's got to be harder for you to trust your heart.
Yes.
Because so many times you probably feel like you made the wrong judgment call.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Look at the screen right now.
Yeah.
Look at Edwin.
Yeah.
There is zero reason why you can't do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
Look where you are.
And where I'm going, yes.
And I understand that connecting that to your head is so difficult. I don't know if anybody else in here understands that. I know we all go through hard things, but when your core is so shooken that you can't even trust your own judgment, it is difficult to get that to your brain and your heart to correlate. But when you learn to trust your heart more than you trust your brain, and you learn that you can make good decisions by consulting with your brain instead of just going solely with what other people tell you, then success comes more easily because you exemplify, you shine goodness, and people are drawn to that. The right people are drawn to that. And that makes a huge difference. And we're here to build businesses. All of us have a business. But a big part of building any business is your mindset and knowing that you can trust yourself, and not just in these foundational ways from childhood up, but I've had entrepreneurs, people that were CEOs at big companies. I sat with this client and she said, well, I can't sell anything until I've been in business for 6 months. And I'm like, okay, why? And she's like, well, that's what my coach said when I started. And I said, so you would have a bakery and open at 9 and not sell anything till noon? Well, no. And I'm like, okay, then start selling. What are you waiting on? Because so many of us absorb other people's business beliefs instead of trusting our heart and our gut and knowing that there's a need. When we build relationships and we see a need, it is our responsibility to bless that person with the knowledge or the business idea or whatever systems, tool, resource we have to better their business. There's no timeline on it. There's no correct etiquette. It's okay actually to send out emails that aren't grammatically correct. If you get emails from me, a couple of weeks ago, there was a big typo in the header of my newsletter. And I read it and I thought, well, they know way I didn't do that, don't they? And that's okay. That's okay. It makes us human. And I think that we're here to build businesses and build relationships. And so everything that you're saying, Edwin, has built you to be the person that somebody else needs. And your knowledge and the things you've developed in your business are going to help people get there. Let's move on to what was number 3.
So number 3, as you can imagine, after all that modeled and all that craziness, is really not having a vision worth fighting for because you don't know what that vision would be. My vision is I want to be the best person of me. I have a family. I have a son, a special needs son, my wife. That's my vision. That's who I fight for. I fight for my future because I tell myself I am not going to be who other people expected me to be the way they treated me. Even up to when I left the courthouse, when I left, or whatever you want to frame it. I say I left. My coach says I got fired. Like tomato, whatever. I moved on. So there was something so different there. It's like it's the vision that I had, and I said this, Coleen, and it was almost prophetic because I felt I was in a courthouse. I worked for law enforcement in the court side of it. It's a huge courthouse, 7 stories, and I told myself this building is not big enough for my vision. It just wasn't. And of course, in law enforcement, there's law. If you think courts are kind of screwy from the outside, I'll tell you they're even screwier because I wasn't from the inside. But there's order, there's it may not make sense, but there's steps. They're very, very rigid, and to some degree, it's understandable because there's law and there's laws that procedures have to be followed. But when that spills over to every little thing, it's like you can't help someone in front of my office. Like I was a probation officer. I can't, I want to speak to them as we're speaking here, like, no, chop, court order, it's this, and this. I was so constrained.
Right.
And I was like, and I couldn't, I hit a ceiling where I couldn't move. It's like there was nowhere to go. So the vision that I had for that was so far gone that I knew, well, and I wouldn't get into it now how it happened, what happened. It just happened. That I knew it was a perfect time. Back then I didn't see it, but now I can tell. There's a perfect time, the perfect place in that moment where a higher power than me that I believe in said, that's it. I'm getting you out of here. Enough is enough. And I connected the dots going backwards. That allowed me to now have the vision that I can carry forward and grow. You have to have something bigger than you. And I love Oscar Wilde because this ties into a lot of what we're saying, right? It's like we can't stop imitating other people. Gary Vee's Gary Vee, because you've mentioned him. I've mentioned Michael Hyatt, who's very well known. But Oscar Wilde said this, and I love it. It's like, be yourself because everyone was taken. So what vision do you have?
I love that. So I
Yes.
think that's a great question, but I want you to tell us the quote you said a minute ago. You said you have to have your this or you lose your this.
Yeah. When you lose your why, you lose your way.
Okay, so I'm going to do something unprecedented I've never done on here before. And Leanna, I know you're on LinkedIn. I want you to add yours in the chat on LinkedIn, if you will. I'm going to I'll start with myself and then I'll go to Carl. Edwin, we're going to end at you. I want everybody to say 2 sentences. Number 1, who you help. And number 2, what your vision is, why. Just 1 sentence of it. Like what that purpose is in helping that person. Okay. I'll give you an example by going first. I help midlife entrepreneurs to build businesses that work when they aren't, because I believe that we all deserve to have both a business and a life we're madly passionate about. Carl.
Sorry about that. I was muted.
You're good.
Okay, so who I do my best to help are people with an I refuse to fail attitude. People who are doing what they're doing because they really want to succeed, not just because they want to hopefully get there someday. Okay, they have a direction and they really want to do that. And by the way, I don't do any of this for money. Okay, there's really I don't charge for my services, and I will work with anybody. And the other thing you wanted was you wanted to know my why I do it.
Yes. Why?
Okay. All right. Why I do it is this: is I've been very fortunate to work with some very sharp people. I may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I've worked with some really sharp knives, and I've worked with very successful people. And I just feel it's my duty to pay it forward, what I've learned from other people. But I don't work with people who I feel are doing it kind of plastic, or who are almost like a bot or an AI. They have to be real people. And I only help people that I get to know, like, and trust. And I know that's all you wanted, so I'll stop right there. But later on, I'd like to comment on something else you said about the AI.
Yep. Yes, we will open this to comments at the end. Ashley, you're next, my dear. Who you help and your vision, why?
All right. I am Ashley. I help. Let me replace the spotlight. There we go. Can't talk and push the button at the same time. I help parents that are entrepreneurs, and the reason I do that is because I believe a lot of the why around parents is they want more time with their kids. And instead of drowning in work and your business, we give you your time back.
I love that. All right, Mr. Mike, please unmute and come to the mic. That was punny.
I never thought of that one, Coleen. I help people use verbal gymnastics like that. Now, I just did a LinkedIn post this morning, like denouncing the I help message. So let me tweak that a little bit. If you have something to say and nothing to prove, you're running a business. The purpose is to shatter the fake hierarchy that says that the best voices come from the biggest platforms of either the corporate world or the ivory towers of academia, or in this pompous academic structured parliamentary debate. The best speakers come from everywhere. So my purpose is to shatter that fake hierarchy. And for solo business owners who have something to say, nothing to prove, and whose business is an extension of their identity.
I love that. I love that. Okay, Vaughn, will you please unmute and share with us?
Sure. Being a saxophonist for over 30 years, I understand about getting audio to the ears and the souls of people. So I help authors who's put so much time into making their writing their physical books. I help them self-narrate their audiobooks, like think of them as albums. And the reason why is because now 50% of the market is audiobook only or audiobook first readers. So I help. The reason why is I want all of that they've invested in so that their book can be heard and leave legacy. That's why.
I love that. I love that. All right, Karun. Did I say Karun? Did I say your name right?
It's K-Roon, so
Karun, yes.
perfect. Yes, thank you. So my mission is to help millennials who are really frustrated in their careers and their workplace to advance into better positions and get jobs that help them emotionally, not just financially, so that they can feel better about themselves. And I do this because I have a background of coming from a place where I know that people work for money and we can be extremely frustrated and we can hate everything and even hate going to our jobs. So it's really about finding the balance between your income and what you're giving to the organization.
Very good. I love that. Istvan, tell me how to
Thank
say
you.
it every time.
Hi there. So my mission is to basically to help everyone from consultants to founders to be able to communicate better with their clients or their service providers, and just to smoother the collaboration. And yeah, and this is one of I'm not communicating with so I'm not doing this communication with my speaking capabilities. You can see my accent and you can hear my accent and so on. But what I do is that I help companies with their visual identity. I help consultants and also founders with questionnaires that make their projects more clear and easier to understand for service providers. And also I help basically everybody who has in mind to rebrand or just to launch a venture to clarify for themselves their own business plan, marketing plan, and so on. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Edwin, close us with yours.
Okay, so what do? I help professionals that desire to be speakers, authors, or coaches uncover the beliefs that keep them trapped in unfulfilling lives so they can finally take courageous action toward the dreams they've put on hold and finally live a life of their choosing. Why do I do this? Because I believe in you. That's why.
I love that. I love that. Okay, let's move on to number 4.
So number 4, we've
4.
already touched a bit on this quite a bit, but it's important to know it's not having freedom from other people's expectations. We grow up with people, you know, the teachers. Now, don't want to say my age doesn't matter. I grew up in the 70s. Let's start there. And I'm sure some of us will know, or maybe also know the stereotypes. Oh, Coleen, you should be a teacher, a secretary. You can't be a truck driver. Me, I don't know what, I don't even know. I went through 50 different schools. So my school career was like all over the place, but I'm still happy I'm here. It doesn't matter. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter. You can have the perfect upbringing or the completely dysfunctional, and you can still, as a human beings, cross paths and be the place of success and so much more. That's the beauty of it, of this all, you know. But it's those expectations.
I think
was
one of the things I've heard over and over everybody say is that we should be doing what we're passionate about.
Yeah.
We should be doing what comes naturally to our heart. And I think I've heard everybody in here say that in one form or another.
Yes.
And so I think we would all agree with that. It's funny when you said what we should be, because when I was in school, number one, I hated school. I was raised by 2 public school teachers, though, which is odd. But I hated school. I was a child looking out the window. And I still do that. I have to tell myself a lot of times during Zooms, I'm like, Oh yeah, no, there was a bird. It's really bad that way. But when I got the opportunity to go to college, I wanted to go for business law, of all things. My mom wanted me to go to marry a dentist because I like to shop. My mom didn't care whether I got a degree at all. She wanted me to get a husband. I was also raised in the 70s, but I didn't know until it was time to go to college that you went to college to get a husband, which I did not get my husband there. And I didn't finish my business law either. But I have taken many, many, many college courses. I probably actually have too many credits to count, but every time that something comes up that's interesting to me, I go take a college course on it and deep dive into it. For instance, when my kids were teenagers, I studied the teenage brain. I took a couple college courses on teenage brain so that I could figure out why they were sleeping all the time, why they needed to eat, why they were grumpy, all the things. It was very helpful. So interesting, but let's move on to number 5.
This is a big one, and I just love this community here today because I think we align with this perfectly. It's alignment between your values and your life. You know, you gotta those values that they're gonna get distorted. You know, this is this is not a straight line. You know, you're gonna have to course correct. You know, even there's a misnomer of the autopilot on a plane. People think autopilot, zoom, straight line. No, I was a pilot. Let me tell you, I have a whopping 2 hours flight time in a plane. That's all it took to tell me I'm not going to be a pilot. This is not for me. But I learned so much. So autopilot is 97% of the time of those giant planes you're on that have autopilot are auto-correcting. They never go in a straight line. They're constantly monitoring up, down, left, right. That's going to be our values. We're going to constantly, the winds of change, the resistance, everything's going to come. You have to constantly keep this in mind just to stay autopilot in the sense of you're always not just in out of sight of mind, but you're always course correcting, keeping in line your values. And they're going to change. I always tell people, you know what, when I offer my coaching, it's like, you have your beliefs. I'm not taking your beliefs away. You can keep them. They're yours. But I will say, if they're not working for you, why hang on to them? Why don't you put that aside for a second? Try this. And if it doesn't work, then you go back to your belief.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate. I've heard so many times that when your values change, that you need to rebrand. Let's get back to business here. We need to rebrand because now we see things a little different. And I'm going to say, actually, what do you say, Edwin? Do you say you need to rebrand?
You know, I've probably been rebranding without anyone knowing I'm rebranding the whole time. I don't think it's about rebranding. It's just, it's getting more focused.
It's about developing. It's
Yes.
about growing as an entrepreneur and as a person. And I would absolutely agree with that. I don't think that you rebrand when you grow. I think that just like with every other relationship, and I'll take marriage for instance, you know, you marry somebody and they're a certain way. Do you stay married to that person forever? No, you actually end up married to 25 versions of them because they're growing and changing. And it's the same thing in all of our relationships. We are different people. You know, I am a different person with my grandkids than I was with my kids. And so my kids are experiencing a different version of me. It's just about growing and expanding as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. And I would say that Karun probably really agrees with this, but she's talking about aligning your business and your life so you have joy in both. I think we all agree with that, right? There's no reason to not have joy. There's no reason to go to a job that you absolutely hate, even if it's just a mindset shift that you have to change things around. Edwin, I have 3 questions for you. Are you ready for the hot seat?
Yes.
Okay. Is everybody else ready for the hot seat? What's one thing everyone in your industry is doing that you think is complete bullshit, and why are they still doing it?
This is a big pet peeve.
Okay.
Big pet peeve. Everybody calling themselves a coach.
Ooh, yes.
No. You may be a consultant, a mentor, etc. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Coleen. Thank you, Kyron. Thank you. There's nothing more frustrating. I almost left a networking group, and I'm just going to pause just because a schedule changed with my son's school schedule in September. I almost left because I felt so disrespected because I was like, I would come as a coach. That's why I stopped saying coach. I'm not a coach. I'm a dream realization partner, first of all. Let me narrow that down. Because anybody can be a coach. But coaching at the purest sense, it's like, if I'm going to coach you, calling in a coaching relationship, I'm not going to give you advice. I'm not going to ask you what to do. Coaching at the purest form, the way I'm learning and my school is teaching me, I'm here to explore alongside of you and draw out of you what's inside of you.
Yes.
Now, the untrained mind, to put it that way, because I don't know what other way to say it, is going to say, well, if I have all the answers, what do I need you for? Which my little smart response would be, well, if you had all the answers, why aren't you doing it?
That's true. And I think as a coach too, that not only are you walking alongside of them, but you are reminding them of things.
Yes.
And pulling out other options and sharing those. So I think so much goes into that.
Yes.
Okay. Question number 2. What's a mistake that you made that cost you serious money or time that you kept making anyways because you were too proud or too scared to admit that it wasn't working?
What I'm doing right now, showing up, being afraid to be on video. I'm so uncomfortable on video, and I was so frustrated a few weeks ago, and I had a whole week of self-reflection that I was so angry at my coach. But by the time I got to my next call, because I talk to her every week, she had no idea I was angry at her. But I explained to her what my frustration was, and I realized this is development. This is going. My frustration was my video, because I wanted to do a video for Lead Magnet, and I couldn't get it right. But I realized the very first one I did is like, I'm Edwin Soler. I sounded like a robot. I kept pausing. I'm like, that's weird. But the thing was that the more I did it, the more comfortable I got. And then I was, wait a minute, I can change this. Wait, I can change this. I see that. And with the tools today, there's a great tool out there called Descript, where you just upload the video and it just aligns your eyes like right to the camera. So it doesn't look like you're reading or going like this, whatever. And it was perfect. I'm using it now. Biggest mistake. And what I'm learning, and I will tell everybody, in the age of AI and social media, blah, 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 we're what a coach says, a trust recession. Video. People need to see your face, your name, put that together, because it's so easy for me to hide between the podcast and the emails. Video, I wish I'd done it sooner, but I'm doing that now.
Right. And so the thing is with video, and I tell this to all of the people that attend my masterclass, which, quick plug, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. The thing with video is that content is solely yours.
Yeah.
Ashley cannot go create my videos for me. She can create my graphics, she can create my captions, she can share those, but my video has to be me. It is me being the face and voice of my business. Is it always perfectly correct for Carl, for Mike, for Karun? No, but it's always perfectly correct for me because it is me, flaws and all. And so you get to see my mannerisms, hear my voice, hear my accent if I had one, see my little coinkadinks that I do. I can't think of the right word. Quirks that I do, how I flip my hair, whatever that is. And every one of those things builds relatability, builds the relationship. And so that is where the importance is. It's not in having it refined. And this is coming from a girl who has a teleprompter. Okay, I haven't used it in years, but when I first started out online, I couldn't make a video to save my life. And so I bought a teleprompter. My husband told me one time, he says, you need to quit trying to make videos and just talk to somebody. He says, as soon as you try and make a video, I just want to leave. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. Thank you, honey. So yeah, it's just talking to people and just being yourself. Just like I said with my email that had the horrible heading on it, it is what it is. And you just have to go, oh, well, she doesn't drink, but reading this, you might think she does. So let's get to question number 3. If you could give only one piece of advice to someone in your industry, but it would go completely against the grain, what would it be, and why is it worth the backlash? Hey, Karun, I'm sorry, Edwin. Karun, before you go, make sure you save the chat so you have everybody's connection information. Go ahead, Edwin.
Yes, this is another pet peeve, is that you need to have your niche defined to move forward. I think that's such a drawback, because I didn't just like fall out of a chair and say, hey, I'm going to do this. It's like that takes time to develop. And the people that I'm around, I've really been really happy that you're in the right place when people from different parts of the country that you're connected with that you talk on Zoom and everything are telling you the same thing, and they don't talk to each other at all. And so my coach opened, like, I felt like the Red Sea opened. I was able to walk on dry land when she told me this, because everybody was telling me, okay, you need to work with men that wear glasses, that are left-handed, that play soccer and drink beer on Saturdays. It's like so tight. It's like you just pick that out of blue, and that's who you work with, and suddenly magically everyone's going to appear. Doesn't make sense. My coach told me those are demographics. That's not a niche. Separate those two. Separate them, forget the niche, because everybody says the niches and the riches, you got to chase the niche, you got a niche. No, screw that. Be you. I always said, and I still believe this, let the niche chase you. Now, somewhere between that lies a truth, but that's going to vary from person to person. But you have to find your way with someone to help you, let it develop. And like you said, you grow. Because a year from now, none of us are going to be who we are today. We're going to slightly change differently. And you're going to look back and say, man, where I started is not where I'm at. But that's how life is. But when you have to be so hyper-focused, like you put yourself in such a narrow path that you don't even know where you're walking, and you're forcing yourself into that, that's not going to work. So I say, forget the niche, let it come, it'll develop. I don't need that right now. I just want to be me. This is who I am. Yes, you need to know who you work with, because as I say, when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. Yes, there's some truth in that. But when you want to speak to just someone, then you end up speaking to everyone. So it's like you got to find that balance. So let the niche find you is what I always say. Let it develop. Don't get so hyper focused on just that. Like I just hear so many people just get, that's the first thing go to. Who's your niche? Who's your niche? Like, no.
Yes, I would agree with that. Now, when I came online 3 years ago, I was coming online to teach midlife entrepreneurs to balance their business and their personal life, because I knew they could have both, a great business and a great personal life. As my interest online grew, I found Go High Level and really have begun using it as a tool that I share to help people achieve that same goal. But now it's tool oriented. But I'm not also limited to that. Like, I can help you with your strategy, your business plan, your funding, and all of those kinds of things as well. But I do believe systems is definitely the foundation of that. I want to take some questions. Carl, I'm going to go to you first. I know you had a comment on AI. So let's take a few minutes with questions before we close out. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, Edwin, you're almost like a brother from another mother. I mean, I've experienced a lot of what you're talking about, and I agree wholeheartedly with everything you're saying. First of all, on the AI and the other stuff, something has happened in the last week. The timing is amazing. I was on a forum, and some young lady got on there, and she said, "Oh, she wanted to connect and all this." I said, "Fine, we'll connect." So we connected, and then she said, "What is through several chats?" She said, "I'd like to know what one of your biggest challenges is in your business." And it kept going back. I said, "Well, why don't we have a one-to-one, or why don't you come to one of my events and we can explore, all about that and what you do?" And she said, "Well, no, I'd really rather do it here in the chat." And I said, "Well, I don't know if you're a bot or if you're a text or you're AI. I don't know you." And I said, I didn't say this to her, but it may be because of my age, but I can't communicate with people just by email, text. I got to get to know them. Okay. I want to be know, like, and trust type thing. And I created something in our group, in our partnership, and Coleen is one of my trusted connections. And I sent my link to my trusted connections in the chat this morning. But I have to get to know them. So she said, "Well, I'd really like to communicate with you here." So I chatted back. I said, "Well, one of my biggest challenges is people who don't want to meet in person and only want to chat, text, or email. What would you recommend?" Because that's all she wanted to do, and I haven't heard back from her. But the thing is that, and I probably won't. I hope she sees this today. But because I like dealing with real people, and it may be my age. I know everything is changing, but the thing is I don't think we're ever going to get away from that human element. Okay. The other thing is consultant coach. Man, I tell you what, you're speaking my language. I tell everybody I am a consultant. I am not a coach. You want a coach? I'll get you a coach. And there is a difference. And everybody says, "Well, what's the difference?" No, it's not the same thing. And then real quick on video, I believe it's so powerful. And the first time I was on video, I stepped all over my tongue. Okay. I mean, I just couldn't do anything right. And then I hated to be on camera. I have a face for radio. I know it. You're going to get what you see, and I'm sorry, but that's what it is. And so I'm trying to cram this into a short period because I don't want to occupy the whole thing. But I could comment on half a dozen things that you were talking about. But I appreciate you.
Very good. Anybody else have anything to add or comment, question?
I got one more thing, Coleen, if nobody else is going to do it. Okay.
Go right ahead, Carl.
And we have this partnership, and I'm not promoting the partnership. What I'm saying is we have a partnership, but it's very difficult to get into my partnership because I have to get to know, like, and trust you. And that doesn't happen by us meeting one time. Coleen is in my partnership. She's one of my trusted connections. But I learned something about Coleen today. That we have a synergy. I was the kid looking out the window in school. I hated school. I actually took business law and I dropped out because I couldn't teach them anything. Okay. Basically, it just wasn't for me. But I think, I think everybody's heard the saying, I wish I knew then what I know now.
Right.
That's all I'm doing, is that I've had a lot of bumps and I've learned a lot of things through failure. Okay. Or not doing it correctly or whatever. And I'm just trying to save people time, on what I have learned from other people over my history of life. And but I don't have all the answers, never will. I'm learning every day. That's it.
We knew each other for a year, do you think? 9 months?
I'd say, yeah.
Quite a while before I became a partner. I said
but we're still finding out stuff about each other.
We are. And we still meet weekly together. So that's good too. And if you get my newsletter and you read it, you'll see that I promote Carl in it every week, but it's because I know Carl. I would go have lunch with Carl. We have a good relationship, and I don't do that for just everybody. Like, we have to have a good relationship. I have to really have experienced what you're teaching or sharing in order to be able to do that and to feel good about it. So I will say, Edwin, do you have one or two closing sentences for us?
Well, first of all, Coleen, thank you so much for having me. It's such a privilege. I have had such a blast. And just getting here, just the bumps in getting here. Oh my gosh, when you said that, the text, hey, did you get my the promo stuff? I'm like, oh geez, 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm coming home from what I was doing, getting all that cranked out. Got so nervous and I saw what's going on here. But you know what? This is my jam. I absolutely love this. We went as a group I'm part of. We went off-roading. We went, let's take a detour here. Let's do something different. I love that. I just love it. I love this community. I found you on Speakers Playhouse. I'm glad I did. Thank you for having me. Thank you everyone for listening. And I look forward, Coleen, to just getting to know you better through your chats and your communications and really exploring what else you have to offer, not just you, but this community and everyone here. I copied the chat so I can connect with everyone as well. Thank you so much. I had a blast.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that. And just so you know, if you'll watch your email, my amazing admin is in her VA team, one of her VAs probably, is going to send you a follow-up email that has the replay. And it will also have as a gift to you 3 short clips of you speaking that you can use anywhere you like to promote yourself and your business. And there will also be a testimonial form in there that you can fill out. So this has been Monday Morning Business Foreplay. If today's conversation has helped you to see something differently, make one clear decision, or take a meaningful step forward, then this hour did exactly what it was designed to do. Because clarity creates momentum, and momentum beats motivation every time. Thank you, Edwin, for sharing your experience and your perspective. And if you found value in this conversation, share it. Tag someone who needs to hear it, or invite them to join us next week. I'm Coleen Stubbs, and don't forget to join me Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, for my complimentary masterclass From Tech Chaos to Control. I'll see you then.